A United Nations Security Council exit briefing was held in New York among the outgoing members of the UN Security Council. The briefing was attended by the ambassadors of Kazakhstan, Bolivia, Italy, the Netherlands, and Sweden. Over the past 2 years, the 5 countries performed the duties of non-permanent members of the UN Security Council. Kazakhstan's successful initiatives include the initiation of the Code of Conduct towards achieving a world free of terrorism and non-proliferation measures. The meeting participants also highlighted other achievements of Kazakhstan, such as the lifting of decades-old Security Council sanctions on Eritrea and the introduction of ceremonies of installing the national flags of countries elected to the UN Security Council. According to the Kazakh ambassador to the United States, Kairat Umarov, Kazakhstan's main agenda in the UN Security Council was to draw attention to Central Asia and Afghanistan. Kazakhstan was elected as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council on June 28, 2016.
Following this initial round of remarks,
the prioritization of the economization of international efforts to stabilize Afghanistan with the active role of the Central Asian states in the process has become an innovative approach proposed by my country. For the first time, we urge the Security Council to approach Afghanistan through a developmental lenses in combination with the security angle. For the first time in 7 years, despite the increasingly dangerous situation on the ground, we organized the mission of the Security Council members to Kabul, and that visit was very informative.
Kazakhstan plans to export up to 1 billion chicken eggs in 2019. In order to achieve the goal, local farmers are increasing the production of eggs and assessing new markets. A meeting was held at the Kazakh Ministry of Agriculture in Astana, where officials discussed the ways to boost livestock production. Meanwhile, the country's beef export in 2018 totaled almost 20,000 tons, and this year, Kazakh producers plan to increase the value to 30,000 tons. The Ministry of Agriculture also plans to increase the export of other types of meat.
Наши свиноводы, они говорят, откройте нам китайский рынок.
Kazakh pig farmers are willing to access the Chinese market as it will bring them significant income. Kazakh pork producers export about 10,000 tons of meat annually. We will continue working on increasing the export values. Meanwhile, Kazakhstan's turkey meat is popular in Russia, particularly in Moscow and St. Petersburg. The Ministry of Agriculture is planning to focus on other projects and develop agricultural science by establishing knowledge distribution centers throughout Kazakhstan. Experts believe that the center will help integrate science, education, and agribusiness.
В перспективе 5 лет, чтобы в каждом районе в радиусе условно там 50-60 километров.
We are planning to open knowledge distribution centers in every district in the upcoming 5 years for the Kazakh farmers to have access to any technologies in their close proximity. They will need to go to the nearest district capital to learn the details of the latest agricultural developments without spending several hours or days to get to large cities. These centers will provide information on technologies in irrigation, selection, equipment, personnel, and other developments.
И техники, и вообще в целом подходов каких-то, и организации труда.
Kazakh officials will also focus on capacity building and training of agricultural professionals. The government is planning to bring the agricultural science industry in accordance with the international best practices. 300 young scientists will study in the best foreign universities to learn about the latest developments in agricultural industry and apply them in Kazakhstan.
В целом есть история, и можно посмотреть на конкретные.
If we look at international experience, we can see certain examples in countries such as Brazil and Argentina. In the past, their governments educated a large number of young scientists in the United States to boost scientific development in their agricultural sector. During their stay in the United States, these specialists studied and worked in local research centers. After returning to their countries, they were highly qualified specialists capable of addressing various challenges in their agricultural industry. Meanwhile, the Kazakh government declared agriculture as the new driver to boost the Kazakh economy. Kazakhstan is planning to increase the production and export volumes of processed agricultural products by 2.5 times by 2020. 40 national IT companies have presented innovative developments for the military at the Digital Army exhibition hosted in Astana. Today, the advanced 3D models are successfully used in various industries as well as medicine and education. Defense is the next sector that will use the technology. One of the interesting developments presented at the exhibition is the detailed arrangement of items on thousands of square meters area.
Мы ее перевели в VR.
We've transferred it to a virtual reality system. You can wear a virtual reality headset and be located anywhere and feel the maximum effect of presence. There could be a 3D map of the city. Again, various effects are imitated.
Нанести туда 3D-карту города, опять же, имитировать различные там эффекты.
The upgraded items include walkie-talkies, radio stations, tablets, and laptops. Developers have created a service especially for them to send messages. Now, there is no need to worry about information leakage. Without special access, no one can read the corresponding messages and download photos. The military decide how many people can use the system. It can be 10 or 20 people and even an entire battalion. The service does not depend on a satellite since it works based on a radio channel. The access code changes every hour. This can usually be used by scouts. A photo can be taken that is necessary to send to the command post, and all this is done through radio communication. Sending data and texting as well as exchanging geodata and photos can be realized. The radio channel is protected and it is impossible to find out what data is transmitted. Almost all the submitted projects have been developed and funded by the Kazakh Ministry of Defense. More than half of the innovative ID startups will be introduced in the near future. The volume of freight traffic along the Kazakhstan-Turkmenistan railroad route totaled 1 million tons in 2018. The volume increased by more than 400,000 tons compared to the values in 2017, DK News Service reported. According to Kazakh experts, the volume of traffic along the Bolashak-Serkhet-Yaka railroad link would exceed 50 million tons of freight by 2020. The section is part of the transnational railroad corridor which connects Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan and Iran as well as the Persian Gulf region. Iran is set to ship oil products such as mazout to Kyrgyzstan, which imports between 70,000 and 100,000 tons of fuel products per month. Meanwhile, 90% of Kyrgyzstan's demand in gasoline and diesel fuel is covered by shipments from Kazakhstan and Russia. The remaining 10% of fuel is produced at local oil refineries. The annual trade volume between Kyrgyzstan and Iran totals about $23 million per year. Moreover, Iran is interested in establishing joint enterprises that are based in Kyrgyzstan. The Council of the Eurasian Fund for Stabilization and Development will provide $40 million investment loan for 20 years for the renovation of the Nurek hydroelectric power plant in Tajikistan. The project will improve the safety and reliability of the plant, ensure uninterrupted power supply in Tajikistan, and reduce the costs for operation and repair for the auto transformers. The project is part of a large development aimed at the reconstruction of the Nurek hydroelectric power plant, which consists of 2 phases. Turkmenistan is preparing to host the first Caspian Economic Forum, which will be held in August. The date of the event coincides with the Caspian Day, CA News Agency reported. According to the forum organizers, the summit is set to boost economic trade and investment cooperation at the Caspian Sea. Kyrgyz government has approved a tourism development program until 2023. The main goal of the program is to increase the tourist traffic by at least 10%. According to Kyrgyz Ministry of Culture, Information and Tourism, more than 150,000 tourists visited Kyrgyzstan last winter.
Это очень мало, конечно, для нашего Кыргызстана с таким большим.
Kyrgyzstan has the capacity to welcome higher number of tourists due to its huge tourism potential. Recently, we developed a new 5-year tourism program which starts this year until 2023. The program outlines that winter tourism is one of the potential areas that will help boost the tourism development of the country.
Который нам даст большой толчок к развитию туризма.
Kyrgyzstan is often called the Switzerland of Central Asia, as its mountains cover more than 2/3 of the country's terrain. Skiing in Kyrgyzstan is popular among young people and whole families as well. The same thing is that we also have a lot of snow in Canada, and it's also very cold. I am used to the winter like here, but in Canada, we don't have these beautiful mountains. It's really a privilege to see them in Kyrgyzstan. The highest number of tourists visiting Kyrgyzstan is from Germany, followed by Koreans and Americans. In 2012, Kyrgyzstan introduced visa-free entries for 45 countries and is set to add another 10 countries to the list. Turkestan receives over 1 million tourists and pilgrims from all over the world every year. Majority of the tourists went to the region to visit the mausoleum of Khoja Ahmet Yesawi. The mausoleum is the only landmark in Turkestan that is well known. Next year, the city will be completely changed to cater for more tourists. A development company is currently planning the concept of large-scale construction projects. Based on the projects, Turkestan will be developed in 3 areas. The first area includes historical region where the mausoleum is located. The second area is cultural and spiritual center, and the third is administrative business. Turkestan's new architecture will have oriental designs, experts say. The East Kazakhstan region presents a musical fountain to Turkestan. Currently, all the preparations in terms of documents are being done. By the end of the year, we plan to build the fountain. Other regions throughout the country will also contribute to the development of Turkestan. Astana will build a square in the ancient city, while Almaty will build a media center. Meanwhile, the Palace of Youth and the Assembly of People of Kazakhstan buildings will be built by Kostanay and Almaty. Other public areas that are planned to be built include Congress Hall, Stadium for 7,000 spectators, theater, library, museum, schools, kindergartens, and other facilities. The foundation for the administrative and business centers is in place, and it will house various public departments. The new status of the regional center will affect the city's population growth. In the upcoming months, construction of high-rise properties will begin in the city. The city should be dense and convenient for living and working. Therefore, we plan to build high-rise buildings. I think there will be up to 12 to 16 stories. The construction of an airport and a railway station will begin this year. Experts say in the next 5 to 6 years, Turkestan will be a tourist center with magnificent architectural buildings. In the next 10 years, it will be one of the largest cities in the country. Mangistau region will host a number of international events as part of the Year of Youth. Initiatives aimed at supporting the youth were presented at the regional forum New Opportunities in the Year of Youth in Aktau. One of the most prominent events of the year, Aktau Marathon 2019, will be held in May and will bring together famous athletes and people leading a healthy lifestyle. The sports event will be attended by residents of the Caspian littoral countries as well as citizens of neighboring and foreign countries. The organizers believe that the campaign will raise the profile of Aktau and Mangistau region in general. Also, a youth forum of cross-border cooperation will be held in August to mark the Aktau Summit's anniversary. This year, 250 young specialists will be appointed to work in rural areas as part of the Diploma Holders in Village program. They will receive social support. Based on another regional program, Nur Capital, the government will allocate from 1 to 30 million tenge for young entrepreneurs. The Year of Youth is expected to see many exciting events. The Youth League of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is cooperating with Kazakh youth to organize a large youth forum together. According to the spokesperson of the organization, the Youth League's agenda in 2019 is full of different events. Members of the organization are also planning to establish a youth hub of the SCO member countries.
Мы, как молодые представители стран ШОС, очень обрадовались тому, что
As the youth of the SAO member countries, we were happy to hear that our brothers and sisters, the youth of Kazakhstan, will have the access to the opportunities and resources provided by the Kazakh government for the youth. We know that this support will cover aspects such as housing, entrepreneurship development, education, and other areas of life which are so important for the modern youth.
И с развитием предпринимательства, образования и другими сферами жизни, которые сейчас остро необходимы для молодежи.
In October 2018, President Nursultan Nazarbayev declared 2019 as the Year of Youth. The president has instructed the government to improve the quality of education, strengthen partnerships with the world's leading universities, and help employ the young people. A retiree from Aktau, Orazalla Seysenbayev, has created a number of melodies based on the poems of classical Kazakh poet Mukagali Makatayev. The composer shared his experience that creating the musical compositions is not easy but very exciting. Mukagali Makatayev's contribution to Kazakhstan's culture is invaluable. The creativity of the Kazakh poet is considered as an eternal value. Orazalla Seysenbayev says that through music, he conveys the poet's main idea and inspires listeners to high feelings and empathy. He is working with another singer, Asanali Kosherov. The man believes that the new work will definitely find its listener. Mukagali Makatayev's poems are well known in Kazakhstan. His works are meaningful for society, therefore it is interesting. Music by Seysenbayev intrigued me from the very beginning. His melodies are similar to compositions of Shamshi Kaldayakov, Yesendir, and Aset Beseyuov. Therefore, music with the tempo of waltz is performed easily. The pensioner does not have music education or background. Previously, he was involved in construction and asphalting of roads. He works with experts when creating a melody. Then they choose a singer who has the best voice to reveal versatility of the work. I reread a poem several times before creating the melody. It is important to find the essence and to understand the deep meaning. Only then I begin creating music. If I understand what an author wants to convey in his or her work, inspiration comes to me quickly. This is how beautiful and unique compositions are born. Orazalla Seysenbayev has almost completed his work on a composition of Mukagali Makatayev. In the near future, he wants to present 2 new musical compositions to the public. The immortal First Symphony of German composer Johannes Brahms was staged at the Kazakhstan Central Concert Hall. The composer was an innovator and he is also conservative and romantic. In the evening, the orchestra of the Academy of Soloists and famous Italian violinist Edoardo Zossi performed in front of the audience. This was the musician's first performance on the stage in Kazakhstan.
We immediately had a good feeling together and was also not only professional but also a lot of fun during the rehearsal, so it's the best way to enjoy music together.
The evening program also featured Concerto Gregoriano by Italian composer Ottorino Respighi. The particular work is rarely staged in Europe. The violin concerto was performed in Kazakhstan for the first time. It was staged under the commands of Chief Conductor of Liev Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra, Aidar Toribayev. The new experience is very useful for young musicians.
Концерто Григориана – это не очевидно. Ну, скажем, это такой не бестселлер, это не...
Concerto Gregoriano is neither a simple work nor a bestseller. It is rarely found on posters, but it is useful. We are opening new doors for ourselves. When there is a live performance, and although it is not perfect, the musicians experience more because the public feels, listens, and understands the effect of empathy.
Публики возникает эффект сопереживания, прослушанного, понятого.